Risk is the possibility of something bad happening in your life. There's a possibility of loss that can occur while doing a particular activity. Now, this loss could be in the form of loss of property, or it could be in the form of loss of income or loss of life, to name a few. Suppose you are driving a car. The biggest risk in driving a car is that you can meet with an accident. There could be a loss. There could be a loss of your car, loss of your life, or maybe you can become physically disabled. Now let's understand in this video how you can handle that risk. So in this video, I am going to tell you 4 basic risk management techniques. Number 1 is risk avoidance. This is when you choose to avoid doing a risk-prone activity, in order to avoid that risk. So by choosing not to drive the car at all, you are choosing this particular type of technique, which is risk avoidance. However, risk avoidance is not always practically possible, because if you want to go to a particular place, it is not feasible all the time that you hire a driver or you take a public transport, right? So risk avoidance is best for those kind of risk which does not have major impacts in your life. So supposingly you are trying to invest your money into stock market and you understand that the stock market has 30% risk, which means that if you invest 10,000 rupees into stock market, 30% risk means that your 10,000 can go down to 7,000. And you say that I am not okay with this kind of risk. So in that particular case, you can choose to avoid that risk altogether. And you can choose to invest your money into some other instrument. Okay. So, but you need to understand the risk, with any instrument. Okay, so but do not make this mistake of avoiding all the risk, because obviously that is practically not possible. Anything which you do in your life has some risk associated with it, and if you keep avoiding all the risk, then you will keep avoiding all the opportunities that can come your way. Okay, and you never know, if you would have invested that 10,000 rupees in that stock market, it could have paid off well. It could have become 30,000 also. Okay, so in trying to understand whether you should avoid the risk or not, first you need to analyze the risk associated with that, and then make an informed decision. The second type of risk management technique is called as risk minimization. This is when you take particular actions wherein that the impact of the loss is minimized. So by wearing a seat belt, or maybe ensuring that the car brakes are working properly, you are ensuring that even if the loss occurs, the loss is minimized. So in risk minimization, it is not that the loss is eradicated. It can still occur. But only thing is that you are ensuring that even if the loss occurs, you have minimized its impact. So for example, in financial terms, risk minimization could be choosing a loan plan with a fixed EMI. Okay, by choosing a fixed EMI, you are ensuring that you are paying a fixed EMI with that particular loan. Okay, so choosing a loan with a fixed interest rate, you are choosing to pay a fixed EMI for that particular loan. So in this case, the volatility in your cash flow is reduced, and therefore you can plan your expenses and your investments in a better way. Okay, so this is called as risk minimization. The third is risk transfer. It means when you transfer your risk to someone else's hand while paying them a cost. So when you buy a car insurance, what you are essentially doing is you are transferring the risk from your hand to the insurance company's hand. So insurance is basically one of the best examples of risk transfer. So when you do that, so again, when in risk transfer, it does not mean that the risk is been eradicated. It only means that the responsibility of paying for that loss goes from your hand to someone else's hand. Okay, so this is what is called as risk transfer. And the last one is risk retention. It means that not taking any action and you retain that risk either intentionally or unintentionally. So when you're driving a car, you do not put your seat belt on, or you do not buy a car insurance. It means that you want to take that risk, okay, either intentionally, or maybe you are not aware that there is something called as a term insurance plan, that even if you meet with an accident and you become physically disabled, then the insurance company will give you some income for the rest of your life. Okay, so maybe you are not aware of that kind of a plan. Okay, now risk retention is not always bad. Supposingly you are trying to protect an asset which is worth maybe 1 lakh rupees, and the insurance company is charging you a premium of 2 lakh rupees. Okay, then obviously it does not make sense to buy that insurance because it is more than the worth of the asset, right? So in that case, retaining that risk is much more sensible idea, right? So, but in order to understand whether you should retain the risk or not, you have to analyze that, first of all, what is the likelihood of that risk happening in your life. If the likelihood is less, then maybe you can choose to retain it. And even if the risk occurs, if the loss occurs, then what is the impact? Okay, what is the loss that can happen? If it is less, then maybe you can choose to retain the risk. Okay, so these are the 4 basic risk management techniques which we have learned. One is risk avoidance, second is risk minimization, third is risk transfer, and fourth is risk retention. Now another big question comes in, which technique to apply? Okay, so as you would have guessed up till now, is that it depends upon risk to risk, and it also depends upon what kind of a person you are. So supposingly you say your risk appetite is more, okay, you are well prepared to handle the risk coming in your life, then you can apply one of the particular techniques. Or it depends upon the type of risk. So like we discussed, that it does not make sense to buy an insurance to protect an asset which is worth 1000 rupees and the premium is 2 lakh rupees. So in that case, you can choose to retain the risk. Okay, so that's all from my side. I hope you liked the video. If you did, please like the video and share it, and let me know in the comment section what else you would like to know from me. Thank you.